As a society, we're trained to strive and to push ourselves and to really put ourselves out to do things and change things and become things. And what I want to invite you to do with this practice is start to shift your perspective a little bit in the direction of not doing so much. So there is a power in doing less. And that power in doing less, I know for me personally, that's very difficult. So when I'm speaking this, it almost brings up something for me even. So I know if a lot of you are achievers or overachievers, this might be triggering or confusing because it's not the way that we're trained in society. We're never trained to do things lightly. You go all out. But what if you were to just stop and slow down? And this can really be trained through your physical body. I'm going to teach you that today, so that you go into a more yin state. So yin and yang in Chinese medicine are not only opposites, but they also complement each other. One cannot exist without the other. The yang aspect, and you can let me know in the comments, are you familiar with these aspects? What is yang and what is yin? How does that show up for you? Yang is anything that's more active. Yin is anything that's more passive. So when you're yang, that means that you're exerting yourself. When you're yin, that means that you're more receptive. And by cultivating more yin in your life, you are going to allow more of that yang energy to actually flow in. Because if you're not creating space, if everything is too yang, what it does is it suffocates your ability to receive. So that's what the practice is about this morning. The only thing you're really going to need besides a comfortable space to sit on, so I don't generally use a yoga mat when I practice at home. You definitely can, so you don't have to use me as an example of that. You definitely can use a yoga mat, but as long as you have like some cushioning underneath you, you're not going to need a lot of grip in this practice because it is very passive. The power of this practice is that you're not doing much except for holding postures for extended periods of time. And that sounds really easy, but it actually is very challenging. And what you're primarily focusing on is opening up the hips, the groins, and the lower back. And I'll explain to you why that's important as we go through the practice. But all you really need in order to practice is a cushion or a blanket. And that's just for when we sit in the beginning. This is kind of going to be a teaser. So this practice isn't going to be a full extended yin practice. It's going to be a little bit short and kind of simple, but you are going to see the effects of it, I think, right away. So we're just going to sit quietly to start for a few minutes. You'll just raise your shoulders up all the way to your ears to begin, just so that you can also relax them. So counter that. Oh, wonderful. Welcome, George and Angeli. I miss you guys. Great to see you here. Okay, good. So let's relax the shoulders. So all the way into the neck, the upper part of your spine. But I want you to feel that relaxation just kind of rain down the back, right? Just kind of shower down to relax the lower spine as well. If it's uncomfortable for you to sit, this is why the cushion is going to be helpful. You want to make sure that your knees are about the same level as your hips, because if your knees are up here, there's going to be a lot of pressure in the lower back. This is why a cushion helps so much, even if your hips are not quite open. You may want to layer a little bit at first. Keep your armpits hollow because you want chi or energy to be able to circulate everywhere in your body, including under the arms. Close your eyes and take just 3 deep breaths. If you're familiar with Ujjayi breathing, you can begin that now. And Ujjayi breathing is really done by closing or constricting, not completely closing, the back of your throat so that when you breathe, there's a hissing quality with your inhales and exhales. It sounds a little bit like this. But when we do the breathing, we do it with our mouth closed. And that'll be the same with your inhale too, not just with your exhale. When you close your mouth, it's going to be a lot quieter. If you can even hear that. Inhale and exhale. What this quality of breathing does is it slows down the breath so that you can be more and more present. But with your mouth closed, what you're also doing is you're building a heat inside of your body that makes it safer to practice. So you're warming the internal body, lubricating the joints. And when you're paying attention to this breathing, so keep breathing as I explain this to you, those long inhales and exhales. As you do that breathing, what you're really doing is you're slowing everything down so you become even more present. And as you become more present, you're more attuned to what your body is going to be doing moment to moment as well. Your breath is kind of your feedback system. When you're breathing deeply, you know that you're present and active in a way that's safe. The moment that your breathing slows down or stops, right, when it becomes obstructed, that's either because your thoughts have drifted somewhere else, you're no longer fully here, or you're pushing your body too hard. So that's the gauge I want to give you for this practice, because the practice can be challenging even though it doesn't look like it is. So take 3 more breaths wherever you are. Relax the neck and shoulders. Okay, so what we're going to do from here is you're going to choose whether you are going to stay on this cushion, which is going to help you a little bit to stay upright, or what you can do is you can come more and sit on the floor. And you can gauge based on how we move. So the first posture that we're going to do, and I want you to be able to see fully what I'm doing, is I'm going to be taking my feet and spreading them out. Now I can also be on the floor here, but what you may find is having the cushion underneath you may give you a little extra support, and that might help. So just play with that and see what you feel. I'm going to take the knees out to the sides. Bring my feet close to the body, but not straining. Relax the shoulders and start to take deep breaths. This is a practice that really you can do at any level that you're at. And I know the tendency immediately when you go into a pose is going to be, what do I do? How do I push? How do I go deeper? But I want you to stop right there. The purpose of this practice is not to push yourself. The purpose of this practice is to relax enough tension so that you can be more free in your physical body. By releasing the sinew meridians that are associated with each of these postures, you're actually going to, through doing these postures, make the movement throughout your life a lot easier. This particular pose, you're going to be focusing more on the kidneys, the spleen, and the liver meridians. So all of those run along the inner sides of the legs. When you're here, you don't need to strain to come forward, unlike a more yang or active version of this posture. In the yin pose, you just find a form that's really relaxed, and you allow yourself to just go into the natural shape of that posture. In other words, if it feels comfortable, you can actually drop your head completely. If you're very flexible, you may be much further down toward the ground. If you're not so flexible, you may be more upright. Relax the shoulders and listen to your breathing. That's really all you need to do here. And the more you breathe, the more you're circulating qi or energy through the meridians of your body, through the channels that carry blood, qi, and oxygen, that help free tension, but also help to surface latent or undealt with patterns that may be inhibiting you from emotionally expressing yourself and also physically moving properly. So take a few deep breaths here. And as you're here, you can also massage a point known as kidney 1. It's the first point on the kidney meridian, and it's located between the second and third toes, just underneath the ball of the foot on each side. So you'll just kind of see me massaging that area. So you're stimulating the kidneys. Those are your root organs, the organs that govern your constitutional energy. It's known as Jing. And this organ system also houses your curriculum, your life purpose, your destiny. But in order to access any of that, the kidneys need to be strong and your nervous system has to be relaxed. Take 2 more breaths here. Good. And then because we've spent a lot of time in this posture, it's important that you take your time coming out of the posture and transitioning. So the first thing you're going to do is slowly come up with the upper body. And then you're going to use your hands to pull the knees together. Lay your feet flat on the ground. You can just cup around your elbows. And if it's comfortable, you can just drape your head down as well. Notice what's happening to your nervous system. Now, I'll tell you, the first Yin Yoga workshop I ever took was probably one of the most stressful experiences for me at first, because I was so used to being really fast and doing everything quickly and moving at a pace that sometimes was too much even for me. And taking a Yin Yoga class really triggered me. It made me feel uncomfortable because it forced me to slow down in a way that was really unfamiliar. So if any of that is coming up for you right now, just breathe. It will pass, it will shift, and it will take you in a direction where you will feel more comfortable with this over time. Because if you're resisting it, it's really what you need. From here, what you can do is extend one leg out. So if you want, you can extend the left leg. Pull the other leg in. And then flex the foot on the extended leg. So if I'm here, I'm going to flex this foot, right? Pull the foot back. And then relax it completely, because yin is passive, so we want to not use the muscle layer so much. You're going to turn your body toward the straight leg slightly. Pull that bent knee in as close to your body as possible, and then start to drape your body forward. You'll begin to feel the energy start to move, not just in the lower back, in the groins, in the inner parts of your legs, but also along the side body now. Because as we rotate, we're starting to initiate the energy or movement of the energy in the gallbladder meridian. The gallbladder meridian runs along the sides of your body. And because it runs along the sides of your body, it helps to open up your rotation. So it's really important to get free in this area so that you can rotate more easily. And all you're doing is breathing. There's nothing else. As you breathe, you'll notice that your body naturally opens up. So you actually find yourself perhaps more flexible than you thought you were. That's the beauty of this practice. It's effortless, but a lot more than you expect will open through that effortlessness. And we focus in this practice in particular on the areas relating to the lower spine, the hips, and the pelvis, because these are the areas that get very tight when the nervous system is overactive. So you have a group of muscles in the lower region of the body known as the iliopsoas muscle group. And that area is what needs to be tense in order for you to run or walk or move forward in your life. The problem is that if we're doing too much and we're overactive, that area remains tense even when we have nowhere to go. So then what happens is that when you come to go to bed at night, let's say, if your iliopsoas region is really tight, what that does is it sends signals to the brain to stay hyperactive, to stay in that sympathetic mode, which is fight or flight. And what that does is it inhibits your body's ability to shift instead into a parasympathetic state, which is rest and digest. That's why so many people have sleep issues and digestive issues. Take about 3 deep breaths here. See where you can relax more in your physical body. Then drape yourself deeper with that exhalation, the last one. With your inhale, just slowly bring the upper body up. You can extend both legs out and just pause, taking a few deep breaths. Notice the difference between the two sides of your body. The other thing that's very important with this practice, because it releases the sinews and the tendons and the ligaments of your body, is that when those areas are really tight, that constrains your liver qi, which in Chinese medicine, your liver is the primary organ that smooths the flow of qi or energy through your whole body. So when the liver is tight, the energetic flow of all the channels becomes inhibited. So you feel very tense, very frustrated, easily angered, easily irritated. All of that can be freed up by relaxing the muscles, the tendons, the ligaments. Okay, and then we'll go to the other side. So you're going to extend right leg, pull the left leg in. Relax the shoulders. And then slowly twist. So you're twisting slightly toward that extended leg. At first you can flex the foot so you notice what it feels like to tense that muscle up. But remember, we're not using muscular tension or strength in these postures at all. It's very passive. You have to trust the earth that's below you to support you. So you let go of that muscle. You let go of the flexion of the foot. You let go of the upper body and just let it drape forward. And you can either keep your head down, or if you have any neck issues, it's actually better to keep your head up. You'll feel in this posture also the stretch moving into the back of your leg through the hamstring, the calf, and that means that you're addressing or releasing the bladder meridian as well. In Chinese medicine, the bladder sinew meridian is the meridian that becomes active when we walk forward in life, when we're running or moving ahead. And that's also why in our hyperactive, high-tech world, most of us have a lot of tension through the bladder meridian. So the bladder meridian actually runs along the outer sides of the neck, down the spine, down the back, through the glutes, the backs of your legs, goes into the outer side of your pinky toe on each side. And having a lot of tension through the bladder meridian means that your nervous system is hyperactive. It's going to be really hard for you to relax. So as you release the muscular tension along the bladder meridian, you'll actually notice yourself come down a notch and be more calm. And what's the purpose of being calm? So if you're at your phone or computer, you can write in the comments what you think, or how does it serve you to be calm? And one thing I can tell you from both experience and from just, I think all of us can probably agree on this, the more calm you are, the more clarity you're going to have. And the more clarity you have, the better your decision-making ability is. So the more you can breathe and fill your lungs, the more you can build your lung chi, the more present you'll be. And the more present you are, you're able to navigate situations with more clarity, right? You're not just running on autopilot to do things. You're doing things with intention. And that intention, when it becomes more clear, then the things you really want start to enter your life. Because when you're not clear, that's when all the bad things happen in your life personally. Because the message that you're giving the universe is, I don't know what I want. Yeah, definitely when you're more calm, you're less distracted. You're more clear. So that's kind of the direction that we're moving in with this practice. Let's take about 5 or 6 deep breaths here. And I want you to, with these final breaths, scan your body and notice where you can let go more. Perhaps it's in your jaw, in your shoulders, your face, your neck, your toes. Still using that ujjayi breath. Let's take one more breath here. Go a little bit deeper into the pose if it feels comfortable. And then inhale to bring yourself up. And then exhale and extend your legs out. And you can just shake them out a little bit. And take a moment to be still. If you need a little break, you can of course bring the legs in. How's everyone doing so far? You may notice tingling. You may notice your body cool down because you're practicing a more yin style. It's a more cooling practice. We're not activating the energy. We're really just slowing things down. And since we've started to work on both the yin meridians inside of the inner parts of the legs, but also the yang meridians run along the sides and back of the body. So the yang meridian that I've addressed so far, or the 2 yang meridians, are the gallbladder, right, that runs along the sides through the flank region, but also, and through the sides of your body, down the sides of your legs, but also the bladder meridian, which goes into the hamstrings and the backs of your legs. So we'll continue with that because I know for most of you, I have a feeling it's really that bladder meridian that's tight. So when you extend your legs, if you feel a lot of tension and resistance, right? That's why it's hard for most people to forward bend, because there's so much tension in the back, in the hips, in the hamstrings. And not that this is going to release all of that right away, but this is where you're going to just begin to unravel some of that deeper tension. So I want you to pull the glutes out. Now I'm going to give you a modification if you need it, especially if your back is really tight. First of all, you can sit on the edge of your cushion. That'll help you to come forward more easily. But what you can also do is you can take your legs a little further apart if you need to. Whatever works, really just play with this pose. And again, flex your feet so you're pulling the toes in towards your body at first, really tightening the muscles so you notice what that feels like. And then relax your feet so you notice what the counter of that, what we're really trying to do, how that feels. And I'll kind of go to the side so you can see. I'm going to be in the traditional pose. I would want to sit up and keep my back straight and lean forward. But in the yin style, we're going to actually drape over the leg. And it feels like we're doing the posture wrong, but really it's about releasing the tension. There's a different intention with this practice. It's not traditional yoga, one that you may be used to. So just coming forward and breathing. And if there's a lot of tension in your neck, unless you have, if you have like a bulging disc in the lower back or the neck, you want to be very careful with this practice. If you have it in the lower back, then most definitely have something underneath you when you bend forward. If it feels like too much strain on your back to bend forward, just stay upright and just let the stretch go through the backs of the legs. Maybe walk your hands a little bit forward. If it's comfortable, you relax everything and pull down. As the chin comes down, you'll be able to stretch those points in the back of your neck that are related to both the gallbladder and bladder meridian. So you're freeing those yang channels. Bladder is about moving forward. Gallbladder is about pivoting and turning. So when we're walking. And pivoting and turning also means evaluating your choices so that you can make decisions. That's why in Chinese medicine, the gallbladder is associated with decision making and being decisive. If you're very indecisive, it could mean that there's a lot of dampness or stagnation withheld in the gallbladder meridian. Relax and keep breathing. And notice what comes up as you breathe. The resistance. You never want to push to the point of pain, but there will always be a little bit of discomfort. It's important to breathe through that. And just a few more deep breaths here. If you can, let yourself go a little bit deeper. Relax your face more. And one more breath. When you're ready, you just can use your hands for support to press yourself up, to relax the shoulders, to breathe. Let's pull the legs in, pause. And then slowly lift your head, come into a cross-legged position once again. We're going to start to open the heavenly pillar. So you're going to rotate the lower part of your spine. So you're going to rotate the hips to release the lower spine. And you can move in one direction at first. Start with small circles. And if your back feels pretty free, take bigger circles. Breathe. Just releasing any remaining tension in that lower spine. Good, and then slow that down and change sides. Going the other direction slowly, small circles that then turn into larger circles once your back frees up. If your breathing feels at all tight, slow the movements a little bit. One more circle. Good. And then going back, rounding your spine, coming up, arching the back. Inhale. Exhale and round. Pull the abdomen in. Inhale, arch. Lift through the neck. Exhale, round. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Inhale. Exhale, one hand down, drape the other side over. We're just going to open the side body a little bit. Again, releasing that gallbladder meridian, also the liver, opening your breath more. Relax both of your shoulders and start to just come forward and back. Just let your arm rest on the head and swing your body forward, back. Opening up the whole side body. And then go ahead and release down and just sweep your body to the other side. The other arm goes and gently rests on your head, stretching, pushing this opposite hip down. So if your left hip is down, you're going to be pushing it down toward the earth as you stretch the whole left side of your body. And then going deeper, relax the shoulders. And then you'll go forward and back. Breathe. Really gentle with the movement. You want to still maintain that yin quality with your presence, with your breath, and then forward. Very good. And then coming up slowly, extend your legs. And we'll just start activating a little bit. So, of course, when you do this practice at night, just brush the inner sides of your legs. So going down the yang side, the outer side, and up the yin side. So when you're doing this practice at night, you can actually do a few of the poses and then just go right to bed. If you're going to start the day, then you want to wake up that energy a little bit more. And then brush in. And one more time. Using your fists. And then brush with the hands in. And then come to a seated position. One last time, you can place your cushion underneath you. Sitting up nice and tall, lift your arms over your head. And exhale, bring the energy down. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale as you lift. Exhale down. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. And then you can either place your hands with the palms facing down, the palms facing up, or cradle the hands in between the legs, whatever's most comfortable. Relax the shoulders, hollow under your arms. Relax your jaw. Close your eyes and just scan your physical body. Notice what you feel. Notice the areas that feel free. And then try to breathe space into any area where you still feel tension. And then notice your emotional state, the feelings that are surfacing for you. And remember, I use the word notice, not analyze. It's about simple, gentle awareness. And then as you take a breath, notice the quality of your thoughts, your mind. Is it quiet? Is it active? Either way is just fine. Again, notice. And finally, connect to your environment, wherever it is that you're sitting right now. Notice the smells, the sounds, the temperature, and just feel the presence of your body connected with that environment. as you sit a little bit deeper, relaxing the body even more. Take 3 deep breaths. And then slowly open your eyes, bringing light back in through the eyes. Bring the hands together at your heart. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Thank you for being open to new ways of learning. Now I want to hear from you. What was that experience like for you? What does calm mean for you? What would that give you if you were able to be a little bit more calm throughout your day, throughout your life? If you feel like you need more practice this morning, I really recommend that you go back to some of the more active practices after you do the yin. It's always good to do that if you need more energy for the day. Maybe it just means that you need to be a little bit quieter today. That would also be really awesome if you have the space for that quietude. But I will leave a link to the archive of all the past classes. And if you're not already on my email list, if you just go to my website, setaramoafi.com, you will see the pop-up to subscribe to my email list, and we can always stay connected there. That's where I always share the first and best things that I'm offering, including a new course that I'm developing for you as we speak. So keep posted, stay with me, stay connected to stay on top of that. I will eventually announce it here on Facebook as well, but I want you to be the first to know about everything that shifts and changes. And join me in the comments when you can. I look forward to connecting with you there and seeing you soon. Thank you again for being here. Have a wonderful day.